The legendary Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II, brought back to life in a stunning 3D reconstruction from his mummy, of course. The famous king died 1213 BC after a reign which spanned 66 years. Ramesses II, ancient Egypt's most powerful pharaoh, has been pictured for the first time in more than 3,000 years, thanks to cutting-edge scientific reconstruction involving UK scientists. The team from Liverpool John Moores University joined forces with colleagues from Egypt, and they captured the king's likeness at his time of death using 3D model of his skull to rebuild his features. They then reversed the aging process, turning back the clock itself half a century to reveal his face at the height of his powers. The result is the first scientific facial reconstruction of the pharaoh based on a CT scan of his actual skull. Carolyn Wilkinson, director of the Face Lab at Liverpool John Moores, which rebuilt the pharaoh's image, outlined the complex scientific process. She said, "We take the computer tomography CT model of the skull, which gives us a 3D shape of the skull that we can take into our computer system. Then we have a database of pre-modeling facial anatomy that we import and then after to alter to fit the skull. So we're basically building the face from the surface of the skull to the surface of the face, through the muscle structure and the fat layers, and then finally the skin layer." And she says, we have more or less the same muscles. We all have more or less the same muscles from the same origins with the same attachments, because each of us has slightly different proportions and shape to our skull. We'll get slightly different shapes and proportions for muscles, and that will directly influence the shape of the face. Reconstructing the face of a long-dead pharaoh is not without its challenges, though. For example, the skull alone cannot reveal every aspect of the person's appearance. Dr. Wilkinson said the difficult bit, I guess, for us is what happens after the shape. So all of that information about the skin color, the blemishes and wrinkles and hair and eye color, referring to Professor Sarah Selim of Cairo University, who created the 3D model of the skull. She said, "In this case, we got suggestion from Sarah and her team in relation to the most likely eye color, hair color, and skin color. We also got information about what was known about him in terms of written texts about him, and then we also have the preserved mummified soft tissue of his face to work with as well. The process has also been tested using living subjects, allowing a reconstruction based on CT scan data to be compared with the real thing." Dr. Wilkinson said, "So we know that about 70% of the surface of a facial reconstruction has less than 2 millimeters of error in terms of the shape. So we are pretty good, we're pretty confident at predicting shape from skeletal detail," she said. Professor Salim said the outcome revealed a very handsome ruler. She said, "My imagination of the face of Ramesses II was influenced by his mummy's face. However, the facial reconstruction helped to put a living face on the mummy. I find the reconstructed face is a very handsome Egyptian person with facial features characteristic of Ramesses II, the pronounced nose and strong jaw." She continued, "Putting the face on the king's mummy will humanize him and create a bond as well as restore his legacy. King Ramesses II was a great warrior who ruled Egypt for 66 years and initiated the world's first treaty. Putting a face on the mummy of Ramesses II in his old age and a younger version reminds the world of his legendary status. This is the only scientific facial reconstruction of Ramesses II based on the CT scan of his actual mummy. Previous attempts were non-scientific and mostly artistic based on his mummy's face. The project is the second of its kind overseen by Sarah recently after a scientific reconstruction of Tutankhamun's face, King Tut, completed by royal sculptor Christian Courbet. The reconstruction debuted in the French documentary L'Égypte, une passion française, aired by France 3 channel. That's Egypt, a French passion. This is on Express UK by Kieran McGrath. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.